Come sit by the water with me a minute. I want to talk to you about the heaviest thing a person carries in old age, and it ain't grief for the ones you've lost, though that's heavy. It ain't your aches. It ain't your money worries. No. The heaviest thing you carry, the one that bends an old back lowest, is the thing you have never forgiven yourself for. The mistake. The person you hurt. The years you wasted. The one you let walk away. You know exactly what it is. It came to your mind the second I said it, didn't it? You've been carrying that stone in your pack for 30, 40, 50 years, and today, by this water, I'm going to help you set it down. 'Cause if you don't, if you carry it all the way to the end, it'll sink you before your time. Stay with me. Now, before I go on, one quick thing, then I'll let you be. Everything I share by this fire, about peace and letting go and finding your way through the last years, I gathered it into one place, a little book called The Quiet Years. If you're on your phone, the link's right below. And if you're watching on your television, there's a little square, a QR code, up on the screen. Just point your phone's camera at it and it'll carry you there. But you don't need it for this, so stay right here. Here's what I've come to understand about our time of life. There comes a point, and you've reached it, or you wouldn't be here, where a man starts looking back, goes over the whole trail behind him, and there's only two ways that looking back can end. One way, you make your peace with it, the good and the bad both, and you come to rest, whole, settled, ready. The other way, you drown in it. You pick over every mistake, every regret, every if only, till the bitterness fills you up and there's no room left for peace. And the thing that decides which way you go, it ain't how good a life you led. The best people I ever knew carried the heaviest regrets. What decides it is whether you can forgive yourself. Now this modern world's got two answers for your regret, and both of them are wrong. The first one says, "Oh, don't you worry about it. You did nothing wrong. No regrets. Let it go." That's a lie, and it's no comfort, 'cause you know what you did. And the other one, the crueler one, says you ought to carry that guilt forever, like a penance, like suffering over it proves you're sorry, and that one's killing people. The old way knew better than both. The old way said, yes, you did wrong, you're a human being, and every last one of us leaves a trail with some crooked steps in it. But carrying that stone don't undo a single thing. It don't heal the one you hurt. It don't buy back the wasted year. All it does is sink the one carrying it. Your guilt helps nobody, least of all the people you're still grieving over. You ever watch a river? Look right there. The water takes everything that falls in it, the leaf, the branch, the dust, and it carries it on downstream, and it lets it go. It don't hold on to the leaf from last fall. If it did, it'd choke up and turn to a swamp, and stop being a river at all. There was an old Cherokee saying, "Don't let yesterday use up too much of today." And that's the whole thing right there. You have been letting a yesterday from 40 years ago use up the few todays you've got left. The river don't do that. The river lets it go and stays a river. Now I'll tell you why forgiving yourself is the very hardest forgiveness there is. You can forgive another man. You can, in time. But the judge in your own head, that one never leaves the bench. Court never adjourns. You can be 80 years old and still sentencing a young fella of 25 for what he did, over and over, every quiet night. And here's what I want you to hear, 'cause it's the heart of it. That young fella, the one who did the thing you can't forgive, he only had what he knew back then. He didn't have your years. He didn't have your wisdom. You bought that wisdom later, and you paid for it with the very mistake you're still beating him for. You're judging a young man by what only an old man could know. That ain't justice. That's cruelty. And you'd never be that cruel to anybody but yourself. So here's how you set the stone down. It ain't pretending it didn't happen. It's 4 hard things. First, you look at it plain. Don't bury it. Don't dress it up. Don't make excuses. Name exactly what you did, honest, out loud if you have to. A thing you won't look at, you can't ever set down, so look at it. Second, you forgive the younger you for not knowing what only the years could teach. He did the best he could with what he had at the time. He really did. Even when it wasn't good enough, it was what he had. Third, you make it right where you still can. Is the person still living? Then mend it while there's time. A call, a letter, I'm sorry, even after all these years. And if they're gone, past where you can reach 'em, then you carry it forward. You do for somebody else the good you can't go back and do for them. That's how you pay a debt to the dead. You pay it to the living. And fourth, then, and only then, you set it in the river. You let it go, not because it didn't matter, because you have carried it long enough, and carrying it 1 more mile serves nobody. There was an old Cree elder said a wise thing about forgiveness. He said we forgive, not because the other deserves it, but so that we don't have to carry the wound of it in our hearts no more. And the one wound you've carried longest is the one you gave yourself. Lay it in the water. Let it go on downstream. And hear me, this ain't letting yourself off easy. It's the opposite. 'Cause a regret you won't forgive just sits in you and turns to poison. Bitterness, shame, the kind of thing that sours an old man clean through. But a regret you face and make right and then forgive, that one turns to wisdom, and that wisdom becomes the finest thing you've got left to give. The young ones coming up behind you, fixin' to make the very mistakes you made, you can't give 'em your wisdom while it's still wrapped in your shame. Forgive yourself, and the wound becomes the gift. That's the alchemy of it. That's how the worst thing you ever did becomes the truest thing you've got to teach. And for them of you who hold to your faith, let me say this gentle, 'cause it may be the most important thing on this whole list. If you believe, then your Maker forgave you for that thing a long, long time ago. He set it down when you first asked. So the only one still holding the sentence against you is you. And who are you, who are you to keep punishing a man that God Almighty already pardoned? That's a heavy kind of pride when you look at it square. Let it go. The one who matters already did. So here's what I want from you tonight. That one thing, the stone you've carried longest. You name it, just once, honest. And then you set it down. Say it to the water. Say it in your prayers. Say it out loud to the empty room. I did that. I was human. I've carried it long enough. And tonight I lay it down. And then you let the river take it. And down in the comments, if you're brave enough, tell me, what's the stone you've been carrying? You don't have to name the whole of it, just let a little of it go here, where there's others who understand. 'Cause somebody reading tonight is carrying the very same one, and finding out they ain't alone with it might be the thing that finally lets 'em breathe. I read every single one. The fire's burning low. The water keeps moving on, the way it always does, taking everything downstream, holding on to none of it. You have carried that stone long enough, friend. Your arms are tired. It's time. Set it in the river, and walk the rest of the way light.